All right, this is awesome. We get to have a special guest in studio, which makes it all better, doesn't it, Robbie?
Yeah, it's a very special.
Yeah. So you're gonna tell them who it is?
Yeah, we're here with Mike Wardian, the Mike Wardian.
Yeah, I think your resume is so long. It's like, where would you start to describe your running career?
I just say crazy ultra runner, and that's like.
I mean, I don't think it's just crazy ultra runner because, like traditional races, you've had lots of success in as well. Like, how would you describe, like, for yourself, how would you describe your career, or where would you start as a highlight? And I guess you could end it as one of your last conquests.
Yeah, man, I feel like I've been really fortunate to have like a really broad amount of running under my belt. I started with marathons, started with half marathons all the way back in the 90s. Like 1996 was my first marathon, the Marine Corps marathon. Quickly,
they probably still open with the same song. It's probably "Eye of the Tiger."
Oh yeah. Well, and I don't mind that at all, man. Yeah. Every day this summer I listen to Thunderstruck. So that was like my psych up music for a lacrosse team. So yeah. Like there is something very comforting and familiar about those songs. But yeah, I started out running marathons and then quickly discovered ultra marathons, which I didn't even know existed. Like I thought marathons was kind of like the longest thing. And then
again, I'm going to pause here real quick because it was at a time, and I think now the popularity of ultra running has really boomed.
Yeah.
And at the time though, like early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, you knew like a handful of people. You're like, that dude ran a 50K, or that guy ran a 50 miler. Oh my God, he's got 100-mile buckle. It was like almost like these nuts that you saw out there doing it.
Yep.
And now it's like you see PTA mothers that are doing it on the weekends. But like back when you were doing it, it was like landing on the moon.
Yeah, for sure. And it wasn't like you could just like look on social media and see someone do it. It was like you would have to like find somebody that knew like how to sign up, and like there was no like listserv or anything like that.
You know what there was? There was a what's his name from I Run Far?
Brian Powell.
Brian Powell.
Yeah.
First time I was going to run Trans Rockies, I didn't know anybody who'd run. He was the only person. So I was like, messaged Brian Powell, and back then you could message somebody pretty easily. I mean, I guess it's gotten easy with Instagram, but back then he got back to me and just kind of gave me some pointers.
What did you do before? Wait, for real though, before there was an ultra sign up and everything like that?
There wasn't ultra sign up. I was actually at a meeting.
That's what I mean. You just call someone. You need to know someone.
Laz calls you.
Yeah. Well, and Laz wasn't even popular then.
Yeah.
It was like there was a guy named Dave Horton. I don't know if you know him out of Lynchburg. He had some races that I heard about. The JFK, like Mike Spindler. I don't know if you know him from the JFK 50 miler. Like that was the first ultra marathon I did. But then there would just be like Ultra Running Magazine. That's really how you got your information, and it would come out like 3 months after the fact, and you'd be like, oh, I guess there was a race. Like,
well, I don't even think Robbie knows this. You used to fill out, like when you wanted to enter a race, you got a sheet of paper.
I believe it.
In the mail.
Yeah, and you wrote
it's
your
like
name on it.
Boy's Life when you wanted to go get the secret decoder.
Yes, exactly. It was exactly that. And you would send them like a self-addressed stamped envelope and a couple like proofs of purchase, and they would be like, okay, you can run a race.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I guess as far as like what I'm known for, I guess it's probably a lot of people know me for doing 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. Mm-hmm. I did that. A lot of people know me for Guinness World Records. Like I set a world record for Spider-Man. I set a world record pushing our son Pierce in a jog stroller. I set a world record as Elvis at the Rock and Roll Vegas Marathon.
That's right.
So that was some of the kind of more nationally recognized. And then in 2007 at the Olympic trials, I led the trials for 10 kilometers. And that's when kind of like really hardcore runners were like, who is this joker that's like in front of like Ryan Hall and Meb and Abdi and
Ryan Hall is one of the people who did the 7 Marathon 7 Continents.
It is, yeah. And he was always kind of like a hero. Like that guy like used to just race so hard and just be such a badass. And like the chance to get to spend a week with him was really appealing and also kind of nerve wracking because I wasn't sure. Like I knew he hadn't been running a lot, but I was like, even if he hasn't run a lot, he's still like way better runner than me. Like he's probably going to whoop my butt. And like within like 45 seconds of the first race in Antarctica, I was like, oh, I'm going to win.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Like he's not going to be able to go with me. Cause we were like, let's run together for like, the first like lap and see how it goes. And within like, I don't know, 200 meters, I was like 10 seconds, 15 seconds ahead of him. I was like, yeah, he's not going to win this.
Actually, since we're there, the Antarctica leg of the 7 marathons and 7 continents, how does that work? Because I just imagine do they pack down all the snow like beforehand or like what's the deal?
Well, so I've done it twice, the 7 marathons, 7 continents in 7 days, and run in 2 different places in Antarctica. The first time I ran was at a camp called ALE, which is kind of a semi-permanent camp. Like nothing's really permanent there except the base kind of at the South Pole. And so like it's a Chilean company that set it up and it's like tents and like a mess hall and bathrooms and stuff. And they had a track where it was like about a 10-kilometer track around that they had plowed.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the first leg was a little longer just because you had to get the extra 2K, and we did it 4 times. And so that was kind of like nicely packed. The thing I didn't realize is like you're still at altitude. You're at like 3,000 feet in Antarctica. Wow. Like you think you're just on the ice, but you're not.
Yeah, you figure you're down south.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like that was surprising was to be at altitude. And then we got some pretty decent weather for the first maybe hour or so. And then like it dropped to like negative 30 Celsius and like got kind of windy and so I ran a little bit under, I ran 2 hours, 54 minutes. So like set the fastest time ever run in like Antarctica.
So you own Antarctica.
Yeah. So it's still like a world record actually. Cause the next time I went to Antarctica, and what's kind of interesting, there's no like real place. Like we flew to Antarctica. So a lot of people like when they go to Antarctica, they take a boat. Yeah. Across like the Drake Passage.
That I was going to ask you, cause I thought that if the weather's not right, there's been people that have run around, like the boat docks down there.
Yep.
And then they run around the deck. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah. But that's not what we did. We like wait for good weather. And so that's why usually when you're doing the 7 marathon, 7 continents in 7 days, Antarctica is always the first day. So like you might have to wait for a weather window. Then you go to Antarctica and then you kind of get back as quick as you can because you don't want to get like to day 6 and then you're like, oh, we're going to Antarctica and then there's bad weather.
Curious about that because when you say you ran sub 3 there.
Yep.
And the temperature, you're not running like in a singlet and shorts. You basically have like a snowman suit on with goggles and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, at various points. So I didn't wear goggles because it wasn't that cold. I did have them when I ran. I have a race in the North Pole, and that is way colder.
Really?
And yes, and so I did wear goggles at the North Pole. So yeah, but I had like a windsuit on, singlet and shorts under the windsuit, and that was pretty much it. And it's kind of tricky. It's a weird balance because you want to run hard, but you don't want to sweat because if you sweat, then you start to get hypothermic and it'll freeze on your skin. So it's like you run just hard enough where you start to sweat and then you kind of have to slow down.
Is there somebody who tells you this or did
no, you just have to kind of learn it. Yeah. And it's like also like I miscalculated the first time I did it. Like someone had told me like, hey, you should probably put your gels close to your body because your body heat will keep them from freezing. Wow. And I did that with some of my gels, but not all my gels. And so I had some in an outside pocket and they were just like
rocks.
Yeah. Slushies. Like you couldn't even eat them.
Oh, wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Gel slushies, probably the worst tasting thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Worse than gels.
Yeah. They're not going down.
That's crazy. So you
know what you could do? You could mix it with a little bit of vodka.
Well, and the second time I went to Antarctica, we stayed at a Russian facility, which was way more basic, and yeah, they had no food for us.
Oh, wow.
It was just like instant mashed potatoes and vodka, basically. So like what you're saying is like absolutely true. It was like basically vodka and instant mashed potatoes.
The stereotype is like
Oh, it was like
100% true.
100% spot on. And like, I was like, and they had like some kind of like the Russian soup, like goulashy type thing. And I was like, oh, I'm vegetarian. They're like, I'm sorry.
Vodka it is.
Enjoy your potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's wild. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, you are vegetarian. Or you're vegan or vegetarian?
So vegetarian for a lot of my life, I've eaten eggs and honey, and then since I did a big project this summer, I've stopped eating eggs. So so pretty much.
How do you
vegan.
get rid of honey though? Like seriously, it
It's
seems
delicious.
like the bees are giving it to us.
Yeah. And I'm a failed beekeeper too. So like I've had hives for like 3 years and haven't actually gotten much of my own honey yet.
Yeah. So I want you to talk about what you did this summer, but I also, as an ultra runner, I'm very interested in how being a vegan works with that because of just the amount of calories and protein and everything else that you need to get. So maybe you can just weave that into the feat that you accomplished this summer and kind of talk about all of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like,
I bet does this give Rich Roll a boner when he says, ran across this vegan,
It's like
vegetarian?
check.
Yeah,
well, everything I want.
Yeah, I'm hoping like I get a chance to meet up with him soon. So it'll be really fun to talk to him and I mean, so being a vegetarian, vegan, on this summer, like we're kind of dancing around it, but I ran across the United States. So I started in San Francisco, May 1st, and I finished in Rehoboth Beach in Delaware, July 1st. So about 61 days of running, averaging 52 miles a day. Basically all along Route 50. So I was really awesome. I got to see you guys when I came through Baltimore. I was hoping to keep on Route 50, but it appears they did not want me to run across the Bay Bridge, which connects kind of like Maryland to Delaware.
It might have been the end of your journey.
And so instead I came up through Baltimore and ran across this really even sketchier maybe dam.
But it worked for us.
Yeah, it was so awesome to get the chance to see you guys and get to hang out. And so each and every day I was trying to consume. I was burning around 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day, and I was trying to consume about that amount. And I was probably doing more like 5,000 to 6,000 calories, and that was almond butter, honey, eggs, plant-based cheeses.
And I don't care whether you're vegetarian or you eat meat or whatever, that many calories is hard to get down. Like,
dude, it sucks.
People think, how exciting, I get to eat 5,000 calories. Maybe the first day it'd be fun, like you get some sundaes or
you get some like Slurpees and you have some Pringles and you're like, man, life is awesome. But by day like, I don't know, even day like 6 or 7, you're like, I don't want anything that I thought I loved. I don't want that anymore. And so like
I love nothing.
By the end I was just like, I just don't want to eat. And it's also like you're not just eating like 3 meals a day. You're eating like every 45 minutes to like an hour and a half. And so you're just constantly like having to chew, and like just chewing is just annoying at that point. Like
not the running, it's the chewing that sucks.
Like it really
chewed his way across the U.S.
Well, and also it's just always running with a full stomach. Like, and
see, that's the tough thing. Like that's why I don't like Ragnar sometimes. Is like I don't know how to break up. Like if I in the morning, a couple graham crackers, go out for a run, great. Use Martins or whatever to fill in the gaps. But like once you have like lunch, and then you got to run. It's like,
dude, it's a real chore. And then also you have to be so disciplined because like every day you have to wake up and do another 50, 52, 54 miles. And so it's not like you can, a lot of times like after a big race, you're like, sweet, I'm going to go get all that crap that I really have like been dreaming about. And then you're like, oh yeah, but like I can't get Indian food. I can't get Thai food. I can't like, so then you're like, oh, I'm just basically eating a pre-race meal again.
Every day, all the time.
It's like being an astronaut in space.
At one point, like obviously you're doing the race, you're happy you completed it. But was there, at what point during the trip were you like, man, this isn't as much fun as I thought it was going to be?
Oh, I think every day was really fun. I'd say the one thing where I was like, this is just a drag was the traffic, like just like people like trying to hit you or like not being aware that you're there or just like being super sketchy. And I think that was the part that was like, I knew that was going to be a drag, but I didn't expect it to be as just hardcore, like every day, so stressful and terrifying.
And what are some examples of
people crossing the line, like intentionally like trying to push you off the road, people like throwing like hamburgers at you, people throwing
soup cans.
I didn't get any cans, but
we had a friend who got hit with a soup can.
That would hurt so bad.
You got cut him on a collarbone. Like,
yeah,
this is at our group run 2 weeks
in
ago.
Baltimore.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Not even
but people just not like paying attention, like those people I kind of forgive just because they're like on their phone or something and you can kind of see that coming. But yeah, just that stress every day of like knowing that, you know, people aren't super excited that you're out there. And then like, for that being said, like most of the people are really cool and accommodating.
I was going to say, like, probably balanced with all the people that came out to run with you and offered like, hey, do you need anything?
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's just that part. And also just like the roads are tight in a lot of places. And so like, it's just, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, this will be a easy day, you know, and then you got like blind corners and you're kind of like, like turning around, and like I would just have my poles out like what's this weird thing coming at me, so people would like move over or like just swerve to move. And yeah, so that part was a little bit sketchy.
Tell me the story again where you ran into another person going cross country.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I totally did.
Blew my mind when you told me that.
Yeah, so well, I ran
into like traffic.
I ran into a couple people, and I had a couple friends that were going the other way, so that was actually kind of interesting too. So I went West Coast to East Coast, and I had two friends that were going East Coast to West Coast, and I was so jealous of them like the first like week because they had gone through like 6 states and I was still in like California and Nevada, right? And so like it was just this whole thing. But I was in, I think, Indiana, and I saw this guy like kind of in the distance, and I was literally in the middle of nowhere. Like the last town I'd been in was maybe like 20 miles ago, and it was still like, I knew it was still like 15 miles to the next place. So like we're just running along Route 50, and I'm going, you know, against traffic on kind of the left side of the road, and he's going with traffic because he's going the other way on the other side of the road. And it was really hot. It was like usually it gets super hot. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like between like 11 and 4 was like brutal every single day. And so like I see this guy shirt off, jog stroller, with like a sign on it, and he's coming kind of the other direction. I'm like, is that a mirage, or like am I and then all of a sudden I look over and I'm like, I was on the phone with my wife. I'm like, I gotta go. There's a guy I gotta talk to. And I was like, hey, what's up? And you know, sometimes like I had seen some bikers and I was like, hey, what's up? And my friend that was crewing and pacing me, Eric Bells, was like, those guys are going across the country too. And I was like so excited to be like, hey, you know, we're doing this thing together. And they were just like, whatever. And they just like didn't even stop or say anything. And I was just like, wow, that's rude. But like this guy stopped, and he was running from Norfolk to Santa Monica. And he was pushing everything himself, and he had like his whole stroller. And actually I had thought like maybe I wanted to go that route, you know, kind of like self-supported, and he was still averaging, I think, like 35 miles a day or so. So, I mean, it just takes a lot longer when you're doing it that way. But it was just cool to kind of see his like rig. And then we both got to like, you know, talk. And I was like, dude, if you need anything, I've got like crew down the road. And so we were able to kind of like
restock them.
Yeah, restock them. But also like just the chance to, you know, see somebody else doing the same thing you're doing. And just, I was just like, dude, this road's tight here. He's like, yeah, dude, it sucks right now. I was like, I know. And it was also like, that part of the country was really windy. So like, I was feeling so bad for him. Cause like, you know, you're pushing the jog stroller. He's got the windscreen on it.
With a sign.
Yeah. He's got a sign. And then he was talking to his wife. And so, you know, that was the nice thing, is like with communication the way it is, you could kind of check in with like your loved ones. Cause I can't imagine what it was like in the old days when the guys were doing like the Bunyan Derby and stuff, and they're just like,
you're gone.
Yeah, you're just not around, and then all of a sudden you
Shortwave
show up
radio.
in like, you show up in New York, and they're like, where have you been? And you're like, I started in LA, and just
well, also just the fact that like those guys were doing it, and it was an honor system. Like,
for
you know,
sure.
you just,
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like, why would you lie about doing that?
Right.
But now you can, you know, with your GPS watches and your trackers and stuff,
yeah.
you can, you know, map it out, which to
Yeah.
me, one of my favorite things about traveling, I don't know about you, but I love collecting the GPS map.
Tracks.
Like, yeah. So if I go to, or I go to Oregon, I know that when I look at my big map of where I've been, I can see like, oh, I ran over here, I ran over here. and
Ooh,
you can
I
see
need to
it.
know, what program do you use?
Strava.
Oh, you just use
I didn't
Strava?
even know,
Like, oh,
I didn't even know they showed it on
You can
Strava.
zoom out, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty rad. Okay.
Yeah, go to your map that, like, you probably ran today, right?
Yeah.
Just zoom out and you'll see like all your runs.
Oh,
You
okay.
can go.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that either.
It might be a pro feature, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
can see my heat maps, and it's funny because I got a nice little glowy area over on the East Coast, and I got a nice little bit over here, and then it's like blank until you get to Colorado.
Man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that was one of the nice things too, is like I got to see a lot of beauty in places that I hadn't been, and a lot of great people I met, and just so many places I want to go back to.
The romantic side of me looks at this, and it says, like, I picture that, like, it's, I guess Forrest Gump is where you got the real visual for
Yeah,
traveling,
yeah.
that those like storms in Monument Valley or
Yes.
something like that where you're all alone. It's quiet. There's the
Yeah.
only life out there is nature, and you have this vast expanse of the U.S. Like I'm feeling like that would fill me with something. Like I would feel something.
Yeah, dude, you just like gave me chills. Like, yeah, just running along the road like out there is just incredible. But it's even cool like in Ohio, like there's sections like that, but yeah, the vastness of our country is spectacular, and the landscapes are so just breathtaking.
Yeah. On the flip side, you know, we just got back from London, and I was like, how awesome it is that you can hop to Spain, to France,
Yes.
like all there. Is there any desire to do like this on a different continent?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think eventually my goal would be do it on all 7 continents. So yeah, that's for sure something for the future that I would love to do. I feel like it would be really interesting to also like do it through Europe, so you get like a different feel for each country, right?
Yeah.
Like all those different cultures.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly. Yeah.
That is
like
cool.
you said, when you're running from California, you're like, I didn't get out of that state for a long time.
Yeah.
And you still, even though you get to Nevada, it's pretty much like California. But like Europe, I do feel like you could get like those different
Oh, for
cultures.
sure.
But you know, it's interesting. I feel like you kind of have to finish off like running across Alaska and Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Like-
Hey, and there's actually this old book that I had that was like the walker's journal, and this guy like walks around the entire like circumference of the US in a year, and he like jumps on a plane and then does like a walk around like Hawaii and Alaska. But yeah, it's almost cool. Like there's a guy, Pete Kostelnik. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy who has the record for running across the US. He's like another Hoka runner, but he ran from like Key, Alaska to like Key West,
Oh, wow.
like pushing
That's
a jog
right.
stroller by himself. Like it was super badass. And like,
Does he get to skip Canada, or did he have to go through Canada?
I think he went like down through Canada to get to mainland US, and then kind of like down and then all the way down to Key West.
That was a crazy one. How long was that? Like 6 months?
I don't think it was that long because
Okay.
he was doing like still like 40 or 50
Really?
miles a day. Like
I remember seeing him end at like Key West, and
Yeah.
I was just like, "This is crazy."
Yeah.
What do you think is the thing that lets your body do 50 miles? Like if somebody wanted to do this and they're like, I want to do about 50 miles per day, what is it that you have to do to get your body ready to run 50 miles a day and recover and run 50 miles a day repeatedly for, you know, what, 3 months?
Yeah, like well, for me it was 2 months, but it depends like what your project is. But I think for me the biggest part was like slowing down. Like I ran really, really conservatively. I mean, you guys ran with me. It was brutal. Like just to like.
I mean,
run
it was
that
also
slow.
hot that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was hot for a majority of the run, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think going really slow, like, so it kind of like your all day like pace. So like 100-mile pace.
I remember you saying, I cannot wait to run fast. And I
Yes.
thought you were like, okay, yeah, I get it. You want to run fast. So you ran
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
And then you did not to spoil anything, but you got to the end of the run and you crushed a 5K. And Robbie and I were here at the office or something. We saw the result and we just like looked over at each other like, holy fuck.
I was
Yeah.
just like,
Dude just dropped it like
what was it?
I feel like it was like
16, 17 minutes.
Yeah, like 17 minutes. It was like 6-minute miles, I think, or 550s.
And
or
it was
something.
the
But
day
it was
after the finish.
no,
or-
wasn't
No,
it
it
the
was-
finish?
Yeah, it was like the day after the finish. So
Yeah,
I finished
okay.
on Friday. It was Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So like, yeah, it's been fun to like I was telling you guys, like, I can't wait to run hills, like not run with a full stomach, like not be carrying like all kinds of like devices, like just go out your door and just go for a
Right.
run, you know? And
Yeah.
so like, it's been cool to like kind of start to build back up. And then I was like missing my like muscles. Like I donated all my CrossFit and like PT, like the muscles that I'd built up like to get ready for the run. So I think like that was pretty smart. I added like 3 or 4 pounds of muscle before my run. So I
Okay.
had a little bit of
Stuff to give.
and it was all gone.
It's
by
like
the
you're
end.
on the show Alone where they like
Yes,
talk
like
up.
yeah, dude, I totally have been
I haven't-
watching that. Yeah, like
I
the
haven't seen it.
oh my god, yeah, the guys like put on like 100 pounds like a bear basically.
And it really kind of worked for a
Yeah,
while. Like he
it
was one of
does.
the last guys standing.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he lost almost all of it by the end of the 2 months. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. But
So
it-
basically pack the weight on so he'd have it? Okay.
yeah, and it just so yeah, that and then going slow and then it's also just being super disciplined. So like every day, like every time I'd stop, I would like pull my socks off, like let my feet cool a little bit, just so they like because most of the time when you get blisters or abrasions, it's because like it gets a hot spot or you haven't changed like the position of your shoe. Then I'd rotate my shoes so that you're never like wearing the same style of shoe, so that you're not
See,
getting the chance to like.
I think that's important for regular people just in general. Like,
Yes.
like if you just buy one pair of shoes and you like
Yes.
do all your runs in it, I feel like it's a recipe for getting injured, but
I guess we should
I
ask.
totally agree.
I guess on those lines, like, what shoes did you wear, or how many shoes did you go through?
I took a bunch of shoes, and it's weird because I run for Hoka, and so I was running in Hoka brand. So I was running in the Bondi, the Rincon, and the Mach. And it's funny because before the run, I hadn't ever really run in the Mach. Like everyone had told me how cool the Mach was, and like it's such a great shoe. And I was just like, I'm set, man. I got the Bondi, I got the Rincon. For trails, I run in the Evo Mafate. You know, I know which ones I like. Sometimes the Clifton. And so I brought like all these Rincones, and it was just like after a couple days, like the Rincon just weren't working for me, which was so weird because that's like my tried and true, like if I only had one Hoka shoe, I'd be like the Rincon. So like I was just shocked.
Yeah.
But the Bondis worked great. And then I got the Mach, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, why didn't I know about this shoe?
and the Mach 5 that came out like I think shortly
Yes.
maybe during the end of your run.
yeah.
That shoe is a big improvement on the Mach 4.
Yes, exactly. That's what I've heard. And also the Supersonic, I guess. Like
Supersonic
that was
for-
kind of like in between those, I think.
That one we did not like.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
like that one.
Yeah.
But the Tecton X
Tecton X.
version, like the Supersonic, it's weird because it seems like the same setup, but the Tecton X, they moved the foams, they switched them.
Yeah.
And when they switched them, it works. When it's
Yeah, it's
in
like
The other way it doesn't.
Super
Doesn't.
weird.
Oh, that is weird.
Because I feel like the Tecton X, which have you run in that one yet?
Uh-uh.
So that's like the plated trail shoe or whatever.
Oh no, I
but
haven't run.
I
in
think
that.
that's like they're one of my favorite Hoka road shoes.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
a really great like road to trail shoe. And
Yes,
it feels has that super critical. But
yeah,
anyways.
that's fine. Like it's probably like the prototype that I ran in that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
That was like supposed to be for trail, but it actually works really good on the
Yeah,
road.
that's
and
right.
it works really great in like 5Ks and stuff.
yeah,
so,
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the one. Yeah,
I have this other prototype that I'm running in right now that is so good, and I'm so annoyed that I can't wear it anywhere, like
oh man,
like in public.
Is it the Rocket X3?
It's similar to that. Yes.
Okay. We're
Yeah.
seeing that on athletes. And it's funny because we
It's
saw it.
really nice, dude.
Steph Bruce wore it for Boston.
Yes.
And then I guess somebody wore it for Berlin. And I got sent a photo, and they're like, what is this? I'm like, a snapshot of Steph Bruce. It's the same shoe as the Rocket X3. And they're like, oh, okay.
yeah, that's a really, really exciting one.
Why is it taking so long to get on people's feet, though? I mean, the Rocket X came out. 2 came out 3 years. That was like the beginning of the pandemic. Like I had Steph Bruce and Mike. What's Mike's last name?
McManus?
McManus.
Yeah.
on the podcast, like early days.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. He's a good dude.
But
I don't know why. I mean, like, and I hope that they start, pumping those out. Like the shoe is super nice. Like
I feel like we had a date on it, but I forget what it was.
Okay.
I think it's probably spring next year.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't know what. They didn't tell me. They just had me try it and run some miles in it.
Well,
And
that's
I was like, damn it. It's annoying when you're like, something's really good and you can't use it, and then eventually they don't care, and then you can.
Yeah. Well, it's annoying for us because sometimes we'll know another shoe's coming out, and we have it, and then we'll see somebody posting, or we have information about, say, a shoe that somebody raced in this past weekend. And then everybody's speculating on what it is, and what it is.
Yeah,
you just
you
gotta
can't
keep your
say
mouth
anything,
shut.
yeah.
You watch all these people like, no, it's definitely this, and you're like,
yeah.
Well, I had somebody, and I think like all my conversations revolve around pickleball at the moment, but like I had someone telling me that Hoka made a pickleball shoe, and I was like, they have not made a pickleball shoe, and they're like, no, it's for pickleball. I'm like, it's not for pickleball, man.
Are you sure they haven't?
Yeah.
Because I think, like,
Wait, they
if
have
I
a
know,
weird shoe that I think.
I will tell you this.
They have a CrossFit shoe or a
the
cross
one?
training shoe.
That's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, but we, Jean-Luc,
Yeah.
you know how he has Decker's X? And
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pickleball
Dude, I would love
shoe
that.
in there, because that dude,
He's like a mad scientist.
he is
Awesome.
totally underrated in the industry. Well, in the industry, he's probably well known, but people don't know him, and he's probably responsible for most of the things that we love in this world.
Oh, dude, it's so true. Like, especially in the last maybe like 10 years. Like, and even I think he was even before that at Solomon, so he was doing a lot of their stuff.
Ski bindings, like ski
exactly.
boot technology. Like, the dude is like, he's in the back days, he probably would have had a sketchbook like Leonardo da Vinci.
Dude, well, and I was lucky enough to get to go visit them at their facility over in Annecy in France, and it was like going into like exactly what you're saying, like some mad scientist like kind of lab, and then there's like a back room, and it's like saws and like old bones and like dirt from different parts of the world, so you can like try what the tread's gonna look like if you're like in Diagonal de Fou, or you're in South Africa, or you're in the mountains of France or
That's
something.
insane,
yeah. And like I remember I was at UTMB, and I was like, oh man, my shoes aren't like, they don't feel like 100% right. And he pulled out like a circular like saw, like a Dremel.
tool?
No, like a Dremel. Yeah. And he was just turned it on. He's like, hold on a second. He cut like 2 like little slashes in the sidewall and was like, try that. And I was like, ooh, that is way better. And like, I was thinking like, how cool would it be like if they could teach you how to like, customize your shoes exactly how you wanted them.
Well, I feel like sooner or later, and we're kind of geeking out here, but
yeah, sorry.
Like no, I don't
good.
mind. Like a 3D printing.
Oh,
you'll
gosh.
be able to say, like, how you didn't like the heel counter where the pillows.
Yes.
Probably be able to be like, I don't like that. I want mine to be like this, but I do like the rest of this design. And so when
snap it in,
and just that'll
or
be
sew it in,
or just have your
Print
microwave,
it out.
whatever 3D printer thing that we have at that time, just zip and do that.
Ooh, that is nice idea. I
So-
like that. Well, and it's funny because our kids go to this school in Arlington where you can like, the science teacher is like, hey, if you want to come in on Thursdays, like you can come in
Just
and
use
play
the lab.
with. Yeah, exactly. So like,
That's cool.
I feel like there's going to be more and more of that stuff where it's like, maybe our community buys a 3D printer and we can all use it. You get it on Tuesdays. I get
Have
it
you
on
checked out
Thursday.
the Oculus or anything yet?
the headset?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay. So like, I feel like at a certain point you can 3D design in there.
Oh, I did not know that.
there's-
I've only played like the games where you like try to kill each other.
Well, that's how they get you hooked.
Yeah.
But like, no, there's areas where you can now, and it's weird because when I first got the Oculus for my son, you still had like these controller hands. Now you've got actual hands.
Ooh, we
So-
have not upgraded
it doesn't.
yet.
It doesn't. The new one doesn't have
Like,
controller.
You can
It's
look at
like
your wrist
the-
and a little thing comes up and it looks like your finger, and you go like that and you tap it and it starts, your brain starts working like they're your hands.
What?
No way.
It is it's insane. Like I
Wow,
gotta tell
we
you.
need to break that back out.
So-
I've got like my ass kicked playing gorilla tag. Have you done that one?
I haven't done that. I'll
Oh,
have to
dude,
try
you
it.
try gorilla tag.
All right, but like I'm thinking, you're going to be able to model things in 3D in there, hold it with your hands,
Sure.
rotate it, do all that stuff. I think,
Save it.
yeah, I think at a certain point you'll be able to go in. You'll say, like maybe Hoka sends you a shoe and they say, Mike, what do you think of this? And you're like, I like everything. I would switch this, and you'll be able to hold it, rotate
100%.
it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you'd be like, they'll just give you the tool right there. Okay, put in what you would like, and you'll have like a little menu, and you just
Oh,
drop
dude,
it
that
in,
would
and then
be
you're
so
like,
cool.
here's my shoe, and they'll manufacture it or whatever, and then
Right.
you just pay a license fee for whatever shoe you're buying. Like, okay, if I have the printer, the technology in my house to make
Oh,
it
right.
real, but we're getting totally.
Yeah,
Dude, that
I'm just
is-
dreaming of stuff now.
Yeah.
Well, and it's almost like, you remember like Nike had Nike ID where you could kind of design what you
That's
wanted
what
or
I'm saying.
customize it.
In a 3D thing. And here's the other thing. I think at some point our reviews are going to have to be in a 3D world where when we talk about a shoe, Mike would be able to hold it, look at it,
Yeah.
see it.
Well, I
inside.
wonder if you could even try it in 3D too then, because like, I mean, my Oculus is right near my treadmill. So like you could,
Oh, that'd be so weird.
yeah, but like it would be interesting, right?
Well, then I also think that you could do at that point, if you have, like, say you buy a pair of Hokas
Yeah.
and you're saying you're on your treadmill and you're running on Zwift.
Yeah.
If you buy them in the real world, you scan the QR code. Now they're available to you on
Oh.
Zwift. And so when you look down at your
Totally.
shoes on the Oculus, you'll have your new
Yeah, that's
Hokas
definitely
on.
a thing
Dude,
that'll
that
happen.
that is so going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
sure.
show up to meetings and you'll be like, got the new Hokas on.
Yeah, right.
Put your feet up on the desk.
I mean, for sure. That's
Yeah.
like the easiest.
I don't
yeah,
think you'll buy anything in the real world
without
that you
it.
won't have a way to bring it into the metaverse.
Ooh, that's
Like
interesting.
buying a vinyl and getting the digital download code.
Boom.
Boom. I like that. Yeah. Okay.
All
That
right.
that could work for sure.
Okay, but what we were talking about before
yeah,
we went
like,
down this,
yeah, sorry,
this whole
rabbit hole.
Is you brought up your kids actually. I'm
Yes.
forgetting which context, but there's something huge happening this weekend.
Yes, there is, and that's why I'm here. Actually, I'm on my way to packet pickup for the Baltimore Marathon. So I am picking up 4 packets today. My brother's going to be running with me. Our son Pierce, he's 16. He just finished his cross country season.
Nice.
His friend Lucas, and then myself. We're all going to be running the Baltimore half marathon.
Oh wow.
Okay, but time out, because any father who runs, the second the kid pops out, one of the first things you get is a jogging stroller. You're like,
Yes.
I need this. I'm going to have
Yeah.
it. And the first thing that when you put that kid in that jogging stroller, you think is, someday we'll get a chance.
Oh my gosh,
run
I just
together.
got goosebumps. That's exactly what I was hoping, and like I never knew it was going to happen, man. Like he did cross country in 8th grade, played freshman football last year. He's a sophomore in high school right now, and yeah, we were just driving home like a week ago. And I said, oh, I'm running the Baltimore Marathon next weekend, because I was going to run the marathon until he said he wanted to run the half.
Okay.
He's like, oh, I'll run the half. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, crap, I don't even know if I can still get signed up. But look, I think you can actually still sign up.
I think we just heard that it's getting sold out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if
Yeah.
if that ever happens to you,
I'm able to maybe talk to some
yeah,
people
there's
too.
some people to talk to.
I mean, you
Well,
do have
and
a
I
history.
should give a big, I should give a big thanks to MedStar. They helped make it happen.
Yeah,
So,
as a matter of fact,
that's
if you're
why-
watching the video, you can see he's wearing a MedStar
Yeah.
t-shirt here.
singlet. or
Yeah,
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Did you win the Baltimore Marathon before, or did you come? I know you podiumed, but
Yeah, I've podiumed like a bunch of times.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever won. I feel like every time I was gonna win, it's like there's a local guy.
random-
There's
Yeah.
only one time that I rooted against you.
Yeah.
And it
It
has
was like
to be
Dave, maybe.
well, Dave Bourdain,
Yeah.
but Jeremy Ardnoy.
Yes.
He runs with the Fast Batches, which is our
okay.
running group. And when you signed up, I was like, oh no. and then I don't know if you had a bad day or he just had an amazing day. But
yeah.
it was probably run right before pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I don't think I've ever won it, but I've been close. And then it used to have money, so it used to get some really
yeah.
fast guys.
Yeah.
And I'd be like the first local guy, but I'd like,
like Max King even came out for one of them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
yeah, back when Under Armour was doling out the big cash prizes. Yeah. There
Yeah,
was,
exactly.
East Africans and everyone showing up.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
funny how that happened.
But
It wasn't even that much money though. It was maybe like 10 grand or something. Like,
Yeah, but
which is
if
like
you-
good
if-
for like a.
But think about if you're running in Kenya
oh, for sure.
and you're the 30th guy out in Kenya. You're like, I'm never going to even
Make money.
be able to make
Yeah.
the first group. Oh, there's $10,000 up for grab in Baltimore. And
Done.
what's the time? Oh, the
I can do
fastest
that as
time
a
is
trainer.
2:30.
Yeah.
I can run a 2:18, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people go to Toledo to run the Glass City Marathon or whatever.
I didn't know that.
who else would go to Toledo?
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah. No offense, Toledo.
Yeah. But that's awesome. Just that you get to be back here with your kids. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
So
yeah.
is there a time goal or is this just a, hey, let's just have some fun?
No, I mean, it was funny because when I transferred over, like I asked Lee if he could like, help.
There you go.
Lee is
Lee would
awesome.
have gotten you.
Yeah. He totally like his team like totally hooked me up. Like Lee's the race director for your audience that doesn't know, and Corrigan Sports, and he's like, oh, we got to tell the media you're switching over to the half. You got a chance to win. I was like, dude, no. Hold on. Not trying to win. Just want to try to get across the finish line. So like. No goal really. I don't even think they know what pace they want to run. I think for their 5Ks, they've been a little bit under 7 minute per mile pace. So I'm thinking if we go at 8s, like we can probably, hopefully feel pretty easy for them.
It's
like,
a tough course, man.
That's what I was going to say. Like it's going to feel easy, but like, and the nice thing is they've been running cross country. So they've been running hills.
But it is the half course here at Baltimore, just for you, if you're thinking about running it, is like if you took the whole course and you said, what's the worst part?
Yeah.
Let's put that all just in the half.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But you should definitely do the race. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Baltimore is
It's a
awesome in
challenge.
general. Like, so that's just cool. And I'm excited to be here. And it's actually got a really late start time too. So
Yeah.
like, it's nice that it's not going to be too hot tomorrow.
It's funny you mention that because a lot of races, the half and the full will start at the same time.
Right.
And then you merge into each other and you get annoyed because the half people feel all fresh and they're running fast. And then you're like running your marathon. It throws off your pacing.
Yep.
So the way the Baltimore one works, they don't come in until about mile 15 because they actually start around halfway, but they start and matriculate into you at Patterson Park.
Yep.
So then they kind of blend in. So there is one area going up to Hopkins that kind of gets annoying because you have to run through some of their slower half marathoners.
Yep.
And I mean, you won't. Well, actually, this time you might get caught up in it. But when you're racing, usually you're going to be in front of these people.
Yeah.
But so you get that, but it opens back up.
Yeah. And then I've had that in the marathon quite a bit where you're just trying to like dodge people going towards the finish line. But I mean, that's fine. I think it'll be interesting. Like I'm actually like, what do I need to like Sherpa for him? So I'm going to have like my, Nathan pack full of like snacks and like,
Nice.
I think the finish changed since the last time you ran. Maybe it goes right down Pratt Street.
yes, exactly. Yeah. So I think it used to be closer to this Orioles
Went through
stadium.
the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And now I think it's a little bit.
The full starts through the stadium, but
Ooh,
the half,
that's cool.
The half doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we also have at the end, the Faster Bastards are having a tent in the finish line. So if you want to come by for some food and beverages,
Okay.
Definitely swing.
wait.
by.
So you're vegetarian?
Yes,
Vegan,
pretty much vegan.
Yeah, mostly
except
vegan.
honey. Yeah.
Are we also non-alcoholic?
Pretty much. But there's hopefully there's quite a few non-alcoholic brews that aren't terrible now.
Yeah,
so.
we get the athletic
nice.
brews, I guess.
Yeah, they're pretty good too. I gotta say.
Yeah, well, and you guys have like the Heineken factory here too that everyone
Or Guinness.
Guinness
Yeah.
is what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have like the 00 or something, or is that Heineken?
That's
no,
Heineken.
but Guinness has
think
one.
Guinness has
Heineken
one.
imports here.
Yes.
So I know that I don't think we have a brewery.
I'm actually
Did I
going to
say-
the
I said
Guinness
that?
brewery on Sunday, so I'll
Which
report
one are
back.
you?
I'm going to the Guinness one on Sunday.
What's
Oh
called-
yeah, that supposedly it's awesome. So I ran
Yeah.
right by there on the run.
It's
Oh,
near
right,
the airport,
yeah.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Halethorpe.
Yeah. So you could probably run to it from your house.
I definitely have run to it from my house.
Yeah. That's,
So-
Why are you going there?
it's my wife's birthday, so we're doing a little thing there
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
that's
for
awesome.
family. So
That's why he's
invited.
not invited.
Why you guys aren't invited? I mean, you are family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then hopefully at the finish line too, MedStar has like a recovery zone and
Okay.
stuff. So like I'll definitely be
So that's
checking that out.
I was actually just gonna go right into that. So perfect segue. MedStar, you do a lot of stuff with them, and one of the things that's most remarkable to me about your training that we didn't talk about yet is your kind of conditioning and strengthening, and you're very, very adamant about that.
Yeah.
Like I want that. Like,
Yeah.
There's one thing I'm jealous of that you have is I feel like you have a great team helping you with like your cross training and your exercise. And if you don't follow Mike on Instagram, follow him on Instagram. It's just Mike Wardian, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you'll see that he does the work that's the work you need to do when you're not running.
Yeah, it's the annoying stuff sometimes, like, and it's hard to push yourself to do that without, people. I feel like a lot of the stuff you can see on, Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do that, and then you like go set up your stuff, and you're like,
It's
or you're
accountability.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do one set, not three. Like the other day, like Jesse, the trainer, that Jesse Fuller, who I work with, like
I was gonna say I know him by his Instagram handle.
Yeah.
What is it?
Fuller
Runs Far.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know his name.
Yeah. So Jesse was like, okay, we got, like, I was completely spent, dude. Like, I was just like all done. And he's like, I think we got one more set.
Wow.
And I was just like,
Uh,
I don't think we do, but okay. And then I did it, and
Yeah.
it's like, and then I have my buddy Tom.
Get
who I
hard,
do-
motherfucker.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there was this awesome band you probably saw, like it was like the Harden the F Up. Like
Yeah.
it was like this black band, kind of like those Lance Armstrong bands, but like,
Silicone bands.
yeah, exactly. Like that are, less than a penny or something if you buy them. But yeah, it was just, one of those things is like having good people, and, having the team at MedStar has been really good too, because I've got like an athletic heart. So they're able to kind of check that. And like, the other, like last Thanksgiving, like we were just playing like football in the neighborhood, and I went to catch something, collided heads, and like,
Oh wow.
like bloody all over, and
Not competitive at all.
yeah, exactly. Like the 7th grader, I completely decked, to try to get the ball, and like they were able to get me in and fixed up, and so it's nice like having those kind of resources.
Yeah. It's funny when you talk about training. Last time we talked to you on the podcast, you had mentioned some like silly things that you do to just kind of like stay in shape, like when you go up steps doing calf raises, and when you brush your teeth standing on one foot. So for the past, since that one, which is probably over a year, I every morning brushing my teeth, I'm on one leg.
Oh, dude, good work.
And it's just so easy to do.
It is really, it's like a life hack, man.
Yeah.
You're there for 2 minutes anyhow, and you can just get a little bit stronger. Or
The only problem is like some mornings when you're real tired and I try to get on the leg that's not as strong as the other one, and I fall over. And I'm like, man.
dude, I feel like every PT loves doing that drill with like runners though. It's like, oh, you're pretty strong, right? Okay, stand on one leg. And then you're like, oh. And then they're like, your hips are tight. And you're like, yeah, every runner's hips are tight.
Yeah.
You're like, your internal rotation is terrible. Yes.
That's funny. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but I know Ichiro Suzuki, who was like a great.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Like whenever they would play the Orioles, he'd be in the outfield stretching constantly. It would annoy the hell out of me at the time. But then I realized that's how he played till he was like 46 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
and
he was so
limber and and I don't do a lot of like during the run across the country. I didn't stretch really at all, just because I was like starting running. Well, I was busy, but I was also like running so slow that it wasn't a problem. But like, if you're running for real, like it does make sense to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and actually. One thing we didn't mention was the your watch sponsor, which I wanted to talk about because
We're all wearing it.
We all have Chorus on.
We could do a little ad because you got
we've got like
the Pace 2, Apex Pro, and then the
dude, if we
Vertex.
Vertex.
Yeah.
If we combine all our powers, I'm not sure what would
Yeah,
happen.
like
I think we
Twin.
run across the country.
Dude, there's it's not even comparable.
it's
like
crazy.
It's just not fair. It's like
My favorite feature is the hardware is really good.
Yes.
But the watch I started with is not the watch that I have today.
No.
They constantly are making updates, and like their software updates. So like it used to be you bought a Garmin, and then when you saw the next Garmin came out, you're like, oh, that's so much cooler. It's now got music app on it.
Right.
When you get a Chorus, it's like when that update comes, it's like, wow,
It's like a Tesla.
Yeah, the
like
new-
you just like get all the new stuff, or like they're like, oh, we're gonna do a cool like watch face for the Boston Marathon that you can have. Oh, and it's really easy. Like that's the thing I like. It's like you open your phone, it automatically connects, and then it's like, do you want to do this? Yes. Like my biggest thing is for like loading routes. Like if you're like going in the woods and you're like, I don't know where to go, and like you put the route on, it's like before it'd be like, oh, you have to transit from a GPX file to a TLF file, and like you got to download it to your computer and hook your thing up.
I mean, that's my
Well,
favorite.
I like it. You can just take it from Strava. So if you see somebody else done it, you just, oh, I want that workout.
It's even
Send
like
a watch.
when I do hikes with my family, I'll go on all trails, and you can download the GPX file and like basically airdrop it onto your watch, and it's like takes 30 seconds.
Do you know
Well,
what fees-
and it is like, oh, do you want to connect it to your watch? And you're like, yes, I do. Of course I do. It's like, and it works. Like, that's the thing.
Do you know what feature I use like almost daily, second to regular GPS function for running? Find my phone.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
that's a good
I haven't
set.
used that one at all.
Just hold down that button, find phone.
It's very useful.
And it makes it chirp or something.
Yeah, I have it on airplane mode right now, but it sings a song, and I'm like, there it is. And it's usually right where it'd be like,
Right
It's
where
like
you left
in your
it.
pocket.
or you see how there's a black box.
Yeah. I do that all the time. Oh, that's a really good feature. I like that you can, well, and I think this is a funny feature, but I was actually going to do a post about this and I haven't yet, but it's like, I don't even know where my charger is. Like,
I know.
Like, I used to always like, I'd know where my iPhone charger is and I know where my other watch's charger was.
Now
but
you gotta
like,
walk around and look for it.
yeah. And I have a little Ziploc bag that says like Chorus charger on it so that it doesn't get like disappeared by my wife who likes to clean up, you know?
Because it's so long between charges. It's like a month.
Well, you've got that Apex. Probably you can go 2 weeks without charging it, right?
Oh, this goes like a month.
Oh, really?
That's the
Okay.
so that's the
Vertex,
Vertex.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Vertex
Like,
2.
I charged it, I think 3 or 4 times over the course of 2 months, running every day, 52 miles a day.
That is crazy.
insane.
And was that in the normal GPS mode?
That was in the normal
That's
GPS.
insane.
It was insane. Like
is really
I would
crazy.
like finish a day and I'd be like at 100%, and then the next day it'd be like at 92%.
Dang, maybe I got. I've always been like, I don't really need the Vertex. It's too much for me. It's like a tank compared to like the Pace. I really like how light it is and stuff. But like,
The
I do have to charge this like once a week at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is like ridiculous.
It's
And like I'll do like my strength training workout on it. And like the other cool thing is like,
I never understood the strength training workout on it.
yeah, it's like says like whole body or whatever. I just don't care. I just always just go to like just whatever whole body. I don't like.
But like,
go
are you
shoulders.
like hit start and it's just
I just hit start. Yeah.
and it keeps track of like how long you're working out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Basically.
okay.
Yeah, and like your calories and your heart rate and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's like ridiculous. Like I was running with a bunch of guys in Colorado, and I didn't know this, but like Salida, Colorado has like so many ultra runners and like marathon runners there.
Oh,
like,
wow.
and a lot of like Hoka athletes. I was like Travis Macy, like Sage Candidate.
That's
Devin
right. I remember
Yanko.
when we were out in Colorado Springs, that one guy that was there, he lived in Salida. He was like a Nike trail runner, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, but we were all just like, are you using Koros? Yeah, I'm using Koros too. And it's like, when's the last time you charged it? It's like, I don't know. Like it was just like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna run the Baltimore half marathon with your son, his friend,
Pierce.
and your brother.
Yep.
So after this, what's next?
I have actually a pickleball tournament, a professional pickleball
Is it an
tournament.
ultra pickleball tournament? Like, is it,
It
like
is
how many
not.
games you can play within
No.
the next 6 months?
No,
That's
but
the
it's
next-
funny. I am breaking news here. I am going to try to set a world record for pickleball. So the longest singles pickleball game, probably in January of 2023.
Is
No
this
way.
like, what is it? It's like Big's backyard of pickleball.
No, pretty much it's going to be like, I think the record's 24 hours, 13 minutes. So we'll play for over 24 hours of pickleball.
So who's your partner in this endeavor?
Well, that's what I have to figure out. So I'm in talking to Guinness. Like I thought it'd be cool if more I could keep playing and people
could cycle in.
Like cycle in, but I think it actually has to be 2 of us playing the entire time.
Robbie, you ready to set a Guinness World Record with Mike Wardian?
Can I just fault the whole time? Like,
that's
unforced errors nonstop.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out is like, what does that look like? Like, how much time do you get for bathroom breaks? How much time between games for it still to count? Like,
oh, I don't think you get a bathroom break.
Oh, I think you got to.
Well, no, you just go. Wear a diaper.
Diapers, yeah. Could do that, maybe.
What are you doing?
There's a record, no bathroom breaks, on a world record. See how long you go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be one. But I have the so the pickleball tournament next weekend, the 22nd through the 24th or so, and then 21st through the 24th, and then the Marine Corps 50K. So I won that a couple years ago, the last time they had it. So it'll be fun to see how that goes.
Nice.
And then my buddy Brandon from Dewey Beer Company and I are probably gonna do a 100-miler in.
See,
Rehoboth.
I just feel this is a waste. Like he has a friend who owns a brewery and he doesn't drink beer. But this is the biggest.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, and they actually made like a little beer for me when I crossed.
When you crossed,
yeah, it was really cool. So, but yeah, we're actually working to try to come up with something that maybe works for everybody. So that'll be pretty cool.
What 100-miler are you doing?
It's in Delaware. There's not a 100-miler in Delaware yet, so we're gonna do like a zero.
Like where can you run 100 miles in Delaware?
Oh my gosh,
you'd end up in Maryland.
Yeah, well, actually, I have the record for running across the length of Delaware. It's like 135 miles.
Okay, there you go. See?
But like we have we're looking at a cool loop, kind of like Dewey Rehoboth area.
All right.
So that'll probably be.
Is it in that like little trail area that's up there?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
the breakneck trail.
Yeah.
So that's actually like an 18-mile loop. So
oh,
like,
wow.
Worst case, we just do that, like 6 times.
That's not that bad.
Yeah. So that might be, that's kind of like our fallback. If
that's actually really nice because it's protected by those like pine trees or whatever.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of like soft pack, and then you can kind of loop it out from there and kind of go down. And
would you use a road shoe for that?
Yeah, I'd probably use the Bondi and the Ma. Probably the same thing I was using to run across the country. And like this will probably be like the 0 edition, just to make sure like we get all the logistics worked out and then try to launch it maybe next year.
All right, Robbie's going to sign up for his first 100-miler in Delaware.
Okay, we'll see about that.
But there isn't one yet. And then
you'll be the first in the first state.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. And then I'm pacing visually impaired athlete Francesco in New York. So be up in New York.
Okay,
nice.
So what does that mean when you say visually impaired? Like they're not completely blind, but they can't.
Sometimes they can be completely blind. So it depends. Some people have limited vision. Some people can only see like peripheral vision. Some people maybe can see out of one eye. I'm not sure how. I think he's completely blind.
Okay.
And so we need to like tether. So like I'll be like kind of with tethering is basically you just run a string from one person to the other, and then I'll just be talking to him the whole time. So it'll be like, hey, we've got a 600-meter climb coming. There's people on your left and right.
I'd be so stressed, like if you don't call out a pothole or something. I'd just be so like.
Oh, dude, it's so cool though. It's
Have you done it before?
Yeah, I've done it quite a bit.
Oh,
so I've done it for a guy named Chaz Davis, who's like really fast. He's like a 2:31 marathoner.
Yeah.
And he's blind?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
I think I remember seeing.
Yeah. So I've done it with him at Boston and CIM,
right.
and then I've done Brian Reynolds, who is Athletic Brewing, but he's double amputee.
Okay.
So run with him, and that's basically like he can see. His challenges is like he's running on blades, so you just got to be careful of like people like trying to trip him, and then also like wet road surfaces.
People are not trying to trip him.
Well, yeah. Exactly. No one's trying to do anything, but like just there's so many people, and like
easy to get tripped up.
Yeah, it's easy
because the blades swing a little bit.
The blades swing, and then also like it's just the road conditions. Like there's like a lot of things that like even just like lines on the road. Like you've seen the guys slip at the finish line. Like. It's stuff like that.
Definitely don't pace anyone like that in the Baltimore pothole city.
Yeah.
yeah, there is quite a bit.
But yeah, that's awesome. So that's really, so you'll be in New York for that then.
Yeah, I'll be in
Okay.
New York.
We'll
Gotcha.
be in New York.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you want to come to our shakeout, it's going to be insane. I think Mario Frioli's going to be there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, it's a Columbus Circle at the Fleet Feet.
Which
in-
day are you guys going to be there?
We're going to do it on Saturday,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Saturday morning or?
like 10:30.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm supposed to do another one at like 9:30, and then I think they actually have like a pretty competitive 5K that morning.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, that's why we're doing it later.
Yeah, so you can watch the 5K. Or,
Well, so we're going up there with New Balance.
okay.
So they're obviously doing the 5K earlier that
Yeah.
day, and then for our shakeout run, for like just a nice, easy, like 3 miles, we'll be right going through Central Park.
Yeah.
And I think the 5K's in Central Park, so it's right after that.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah, because I was thinking about trying to run maybe in the 5K.
Of course you were.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just pacing, so like I think the guy that I'm pacing just wants to do like 3:30, so it should
Okay.
be pretty manageable.
A walk in the park for you.
Yeah, I hope
See,
so.
and I'm worried about it because we're doing New York for fun. And
Oh,
I'm
you guys
like-
are both running too?
Oh, we have 10 people running.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
From Believe in
Like
the
a
Run,
very
yeah.
big
Okay.
crew.
But so Robbie Jarrett, who's our wide foot guy,
Yeah.
and we're planning on kind of like fun running New York City through the boroughs and all that stuff. And I'm like, the longer we're out there, the harder it's going to be because just time on feet.
Yeah.
And those bridges are not forgiving.
No.
So it's like I'm kind of like trying to figure out what is the pace that we should be running where we won't destroy ourselves.
Right.
Like when I say don't
You'll
destroy
be
ourselves, I
fine,
don't want to
dude.
go too slow.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's actually harder to run slower,
Yeah.
especially if it's not your pace, right? So, like, if you're running somebody else's pace, like, that's why I blew up so many people that were trying to run with me because like they're like, oh, I can't run like 12 minutes per mile pace. Like,
Yeah.
that's hard. So, yeah, I feel like you'll just have to figure it out. Or like you can run. What I've done in that case is you run ahead to the aid station and like get everybody like some.
You sound nice.
Yeah, like just run ahead and then you get water for everyone and then run back and then so you do a little more miles, but you get to run your pace a little bit more.
Yeah.
I
We'll
like
have to
that.
figure that out.
Or you can just like hang out with the crowd too. I mean, that's the cool thing about New York is like you get people
You
the
know, that-
whole time and you get all that energy, right? So
Yeah.
like even the slower runners might be a little bit faster.
And that was when you were talking about helping somebody run who's sight impaired.
Yeah.
That how much, like if you're running like say the NCR marathon, that's got to be boring for them. But if you're running the New York City marathon where it's the constant
Buzz.
buzz of the crowds and stuff, it's like if you can't see but you can feel that and feel
Dude,
that
you
energy.
can feel it. Like I'm sure you guys get that. Like you get like the hair stands up on your skin and like
Yeah.
it just you can feel the energy coming off people and like it's like that the whole weekend. I mean, you get that in Boston, you get that in New York, you get that in Chicago, you get that.
Yeah,
In,
London was awesome.
Yeah.
And even I'll tell you what, Falmouth kicked ass as far
oh,
as
dude, Falmouth rocks, man. I've done that
couldn't-
race a couple times.
so surprised.
And it's brutal. Usually it's like a gazillion degrees and like
I don't like the race because I don't love hills and I don't like heat. Running in the heat. This has both the heat and the hills, and I love Falmouth.
yeah. Well, and sometimes you get the wind off the ocean too. Like
We
so-
did not.
Oh, okay. Well, like I've had it where it's been like a headwind, and you're just like, oh gosh, how could this make this harder? And it's
Yeah.
like hot headwind coming
Oh
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
no thanks.
Yeah. No, that's a really good race. Plus, the community just shows out.
That's what I was surprised. Like that had a deeper, like cheering sidelines than a lot of marathons I've been to. It's a 7-mile race, and it was just like 10 people deep in areas.
Well, and it's just like a cool story, right? Like they basically ran from Woods Hole to Falmouth so they could catch last call and get an extra beer, you know? So it's just like, what a badass story and like how iconic of a event.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice time to be on the Cape.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is.
for
Well,
sure.
my favorite thing was this year, when we finished, we went in the ocean and swam around the ocean with like, after we'd had several adult beverages.
Yeah.
And there was about 10 of us in the water just having a great
Chilling.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like that's like, I mean, there's so many great things about running, but the community is what makes it so special, I think, in all these cases. Like if it was, even if it was just, you 10 and you guys had a good run and you finished and, were able to go in the ocean together, that would make it great. But then just to have all those other
Like a
people.
party.
Yeah, exactly.
Band playing.
Yeah. And it's just like summertime goodness.
For
Giant
sure.
American flags everywhere, like
Yeah.
giant, like 30 foot.
Like Texas style.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they actually hang them.
They do-
I don't,
yeah,
like
finish.
as you're coming down the hill to the finish line.
Yeah.
And so,
That is one of the best finishes too, because you get that downhill.
Yeah.
well, but it's weird because like
For the
that
uphill.
finish line, like you think like you're done at the flag, and it's actually like another like 50 meters or
Yeah.
something. You're
Right.
like shizzle. It's like, damn it! I thought I was gonna break 38 or I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever
no,
time.
that was
Yeah.
me the whole time. I thought I was gonna break 38.
Yeah, right. 38.
For the half. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. Well, I guess yeah, we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah.
No, this was great. I'm so excited you were able to come in
Yeah,
and
man.
like hit up the office here, and hopefully you'll be an example for other people to come in, because
Yeah.
the pictures will be better, the video will be better.
Yeah, man. I feel like coming in just makes. I mean, it's fun to do it. It's more convenient probably to do it remotely, but
Yeah.
I think there's something about being in the same room with people, and you guys have like pretty awesome office space too. I was like, I was pulling up out front, and I was like, I know it's around here somewhere, and then it's like start finish line like right at the front door. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even like look at the address. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, man, it's awesome. You're a legend. Like,
Thanks.
I don't think anybody like has had the longevity that you're currently experiencing to be able to compete and to take on new challenges. It's just exciting. The only other person I can think of that has been around as long and who's still taking on challenges like Dean Karnassus. So,
Yeah.
not that I don't even think you're quite as old as Dean, but just the breadth of like you've been in the game for a long time and operating at a high level. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, it's been, I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of is like to have been in the sport for a long time and be able to, still be relevant and
You
and
proved
still,
all your relatives that your knees are not you're gonna hurt your knees.
Yeah.
Not gonna be able to walk by the time you're 40.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like that's something that everyone hears as a runner, and I feel like it's not coming from a place that I just don't think people know.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can be an example of what you can do if you stay after it.
Yeah, stand on one leg while you brush your teeth. That's the key.
That's one of the keys for sure.
right, bud.
Do bear crawls and core stuff.
Maybe don't drink alcohol
Yeah.
and eat vegan lifestyle. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Mike. It's good talking to you. Dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys.